Hello, my name is Gerhard Adam, and in this module we will be taking a look at the basics of ISPF edit. In particular, we will be looking at the view screen, the browse facility, as well as the editing. The three primary sessions that we're dealing with here is that the edit session, of course, allows us to go in and make modifications to specific files or members within files. What we can edit are sequential files, partition dataset members, or ZOS Unix files. ZOS Unix files are outside the scope of this particular module, but they relate to a facility within ZOS that supports a Unix file system. We can edit fixed and variable length records, although undefined records cannot be edited. The view session is very similar to edit, with the stipulation that changes made cannot be saved. Now, the purpose is primarily to provide read access to the particular file. And as a result, even though it behaves very similar to edit, we cannot directly make changes using the view facility. Although we can overtype and we can make changes so that it appears that we're making the changes. When we try to save them, it will be rejected. As a result, if we do make changes when we are in a view session, we need to use some ISPF primary commands such as create or replace in order to save the changes that we've made. A browse session does not allow any changes to occur. It is strictly read-only, and as a result, it would be used simply to browse data sets to be able to just take a look at their contents and to ensure that no changes have been made or can be made. The screens themselves basically follow the same style, which is where we are going to have our ISPF library, and in this case, we will have a dataset name called user01.jcl.cntl. So we can specify this then as the project, group, and type. The fourth entry here for the member would allow us to select a specific member within this partition data set to process. In addition, we can have middle level qualifiers that will allow us to string together several partition data sets that have the same basic name, although a difference in the middle level qualifier. This will allow us then to search them all as if they were simply one large data set. In addition, we can specify an alternative data set to be used here by specifying a fully qualified name of a data set, which can be either partitions, sequential, or a Unix file. Despite the fact that it indicates that we can use VSAM datasets, there is no native support for VSAM files. As a result, any VSAM file viewing or editing would have to be done with the addition of special products that would facilitate that capability. In addition, you can see there are options at the bottom indicating, for example, whether or not we want this to be a view screen or whether we want to use the browse. One or the other is what we would use. We would not use both. And in addition, if we have changes that we're making, for example, if we are in the view screen, you can see that we also have an option indicating that you should be warned in the event that you're making a change so that you're aware that any change that you make cannot be saved, not directly through the exiting of the facility. In addition, when we are in either the browse or the view screen, one of the things that we have then is the ability to enter a member name. And as we said, if we know the member name, then we can simply place it there and we will go directly into that member. If we don't know, if we hit enter, then we will get the list of all of the members and then we can merely select the one that we're interested in working on. The alternate dataset name allows us the same facility where we can specify the dataset name and we can also place a member name in parentheses in order to directly go to that particular entry. And as indicated, we can also use the Unix files. Now, Unix files are outside the scope of this particular module, but they represent the Unix file system that is available to some ZOS applications. In editing, we can see that the options are different, but the screen itself looks pretty much the same. So that we would have our dataset name, we would have the members, we could have an alternate dataset, and all of these would provide us a means then of being able to select the particular entry that we want to view or edit. When I hit the enter key, I'm presented with a list of members within this particular partition dataset that I'm looking at. So what I can do then is that I can invoke ISPF primary commands on the command line, which would allow me to copy entries, for example, or the use of something like the create and replace when we're in the edit screen. And also I can select the scroll value. Now the scroll value is determined by whether or not when we hit the PF8 or 7 keys, do we want to scroll based on a full page, a full screen's worth of data, half a page, or based on cursor position. Most of the time, cursor position is the one that most people choose because it makes the most sense. That way, when we have the cursor placed at some point within our document or within our screen, then we can move by hitting PF8 to ensure that that becomes the top line of the next display when we scroll. In that way, we have a little bit more control over what is displayed on the screen, especially when we have to shift only a few lines. In addition, once I'm in the edit panel itself, again, I have my primary commands that I can invoke, such as copying an entry or, creating, replacing, doing a variety of different things here. And then you can see the scroll value as well, in this case, is set to page. This is one thing that you probably change to cursor, precisely so that you have better control over what's going on. In addition, you can see that we can also have a place now to input data to create a new member. So in this case here, what we would do then is we would just move our cursor over there and begin typing whatever data we wish to enter.